Hello, I'm Matt Guff from thehouse.com, and this is Tony Wagner. Tony, how you doing, bud?
Good, how about you?
It's so good.
Thanks for having me in.
You're welcome. Tony is one of our riders. You've been on the house team for how many seasons now?
Officially, probably 2. This
Officially
would for
2?
sure be my second year.
Yeah.
I don't know for sure. I think this will be my official second year.
Official second year.
Yeah.
But we kind of had you on as an ambassador for like a full season or
Yeah,
something.
something like that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Tony rides for Arbor, for Fluxish.
Fluxish, Holden, Ashbury, Howell. Those are all brands that like Pete helps me out with, like hooks me up with stuff.
Cool. And then Brian from Arbor.
Yep, Brian from Arbor.
Yep. Tony came in today because Ryan Turley from Arbor was here, the global sales manager, and we just want to spend some FaceTime. It's always awesome to have Tony around. He just had a part drop. Not really a part drop. They had a movie that he participated in, dropped the 1817 movie. You got the opener, dude.
Yeah,
That's huge.
It's pretty stoked.
Did you know that?
No.
You didn't?
Not at all. I'd seen my footage once at Riley's apartment.
In order or just kind of?
Nope, not in order. Just shot. Pretty much just a
raw
timeline.
clips.
Yep, nothing. He just wanted to make sure he had everything because there was footage coming in from a few different places.
Yep.
So he just wanted to make sure he had everything, and didn't see it with any music. Didn't see it with any like editing or ramping or anything.
Yeah.
So up until Friday night. 4 nights ago. Hadn't seen anything. So yeah, it caught me a little off guard.
Yeah. So within the movie, there's kind of a little bit of an intro. It's you riding.
Yep.
Right. Did you know that you had a full part then, or when did you realize while you were watching that you were like, holy shit, I have opener?
Well, I caught on pretty soon. Sure. Like when at the first shot is like an opening shot of me. We were up in Duluth, and I thought that was like just the intro to the intro. Because a lot of times a movie will have like an intro song with a few makes, a few bales, like a shot of a lifey of everyone or something.
Yeah.
So I thought that's what it was. Yeah. But then like there was that intro clip, and then another lifey shot, and then a clip, and then another clip, and another clip, a few more clips, and then and then it said introducing Tony Wagner.
Yeah.
That's when I realized for sure that I guess I'd got an opener.
Yeah. How did that feel when you're sitting in the theater? It was packed. We were at the Parkway, right?
Yep, Parkway in Minneapolis.
Yep. How many people do you think were there? It was packed. Like there.
Yeah, Stefan said it seated 400 people, and apparently there were people like sitting on the floors and stuff. So like I'd say it's probably a safe assumption we had pretty darn close to 400 people out there.
Yep. There was people like where I was sitting. There was people like sitting in the hallway, like in the aisle, and like everyone like there was people that kept flooding in, and like kept getting in my way, and I finally got up and like went right to the front because I wanted to watch. But how did it feel like sitting in the theater? You're around all your friends and peers and people that look up to you and people that you look up to, and you get the first part. How did it feel in that moment?
I was pretty stoked. I mean, it didn't sink in.
Yeah.
And I don't know, that was like my first real video part or anything. So like the whole thing was new. Yep. So I don't know how to compare it to like having any other video part.
Sure.
In a movie or whatever. But no, it felt good. Like pretty much everyone I've filmed with last winter, I in one way or another grew up looking up to. Yeah. Like whether it was Riley. Like Dan and Derek, the filmers, who I've looked up to for years, or like Cody, Ethan. I mean, like Ethan grew up at Troll. I grew up at Troll, so like he was one of the first people that I ever knew who he like pro snowboarder who I ever knew who he was. So like it was really cool getting to film with all those people that I'd grown up looking up to. Yeah,
and it turned out really good. There's one of my favorite shots is the switch backside 2 to regs. Mm-hmm. That's nice. What was your favorite shot that you did in the movie?
There's a few for different reasons. One was it's like in the intro section of my part. It's just like a really simple. I kind of did like a wall ride under a pole and over like a windowsill, so almost like a love seat like skate feature. Yeah. And that's like just like one of those like really simple spots that I've always looked for. Yeah. And when me, Ethan, and Krister and Dan Tyler were out on a trip in the Dakotas, we just happened to come across and like I spotted it across a huge field. And
Really?
you could see it was like right next to train tracks and stuff. It was pretty much just like an old warehouse or some utility building.
Yeah.
And so that, like, and the cool thing was it was pretty much already built, like, because how the snowdrifts had like fallen off of the roof, like the landing and the tranny to go up. It was like pretty much here. We just had to like pack it out. And so like that alone, and then plus once that we noticed the pipe going out above it to like kind of close you in and make sure you really had to be dialed going into it.
Yeah, because
that made that the spot for sure.
Yeah, and that was a backside, right?
Yeah, it was just like a backside, not really wall ride, just
sure.
I don't know, something.
Yeah, that was a cool shot.
I
remember it. So
yeah, that was one, and then probably the second favorite one is the back one on the Somerset King.
Oh God, yeah, back one switch 50 through a kink and off a donkey.
Yep, yeah, that rail I drive by every time I go to troll.
Okay. So
I've driven by that thing hundreds of times, no joke. And every time I've gone by it for the last 3 years, I've thought about back wanting onto it.
Yeah.
And so I did it. I'd done it a lot in my head. You know, like it had happened in my head quite a few times.
Yeah.
So when it finally came to doing it, it worked out eventually. It was like last February, right before Troll Project, actually. Okay. When Troll Project was, it was supposed to get super warm. We were going to lose all of our snow. Well, the whole 3 inches of snow that we had. Mm-hmm. And so, like, probably like 11 or 12, I was leaving Troll because it was late night, Friday night. Mm-hmm. And I was like, well, we're going to lose all of our snow next week. So on the way home, I stopped by, set it up in the dark, cleared out some of the brush, pulled a few down trees out of the way that were like right next to it. Yeah, in the middle of the night. Yeah. And then went there the next morning and worked out.
You got it.
Yeah.
So what else is there? Do you want to go back to that spot and try anything else? Or you're like, that's a heavy trick. Do you want to do anything else?
I've been thinking about what I could do on it. Yeah. I would definitely go back. Like I don't know. I don't really believe. I don't think you could ever really like fully outdo yourself on something. Like there's always something you could do better.
Sure.
Or whatnot. Mm-hmm. But nothing has come to mind to try on it yet.
Got it. Not yet. Maybe. It's a secret. Maybe.
Maybe something.
Maybe something.
We'll see.
Yeah. So you worked Troll. How did you get involved with like the whole Troll crew? Because you've been ever since I've known you, you've been like really ingrained into the fabric of what the Troll Park crew is, and Troll in general.
Yeah, that's the only place I've ever called a home mountain.
Yeah.
I've only had a pass at Troll. I grew up in Hudson, Wisconsin, so I'm actually closer to Afton, but I was never really down with what Afton had set up or like just the vibes there. And it was different back then. It was definitely way different back then because that was like 10 years ago now probably.
Yeah.
But when the first few years I snowboarded at my house because my parents didn't want to drive me like 40 minutes up to Trolhagen. And so like I would just like build like sketchy wooden rails and stuff at my house, and if we got snow I'd get to snowboard. If not, I was out of luck.
Yeah.
But then once I finally started getting like buying passes, I would buy like the midweek pass up at Troll because it was super cheap.
Yep.
And my parents were like always super down for snowboarding, but they were also super down to like make me invest in it myself. So then like
you appreciate it more.
Exactly. Yep. So I always would get the midweek pass because I could afford that. And so I would get up there like maybe once a week, like the first year or two. And then once I actually got my license when I was 16, I started riding up there like a few times a week, and then it was just downhill from there. Depending on how you look at it. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, as soon as I got my license, it turned into like 4 or 5 days a week, and then once I was done with school, it was pretty much every day. But I got involved in park crew 5 years ago now. Okay. I just finished high school and I was kind of taking a year off. I was taking a few classes at a local tech school, so I pretty much had an open schedule. Yep. And they needed help, so I think Vinny and Mike Mickelson were the first two people to ask me on. And at first I didn't want to do it. I wanted to like just keep Troll as like just like not a workplace. Yeah. Just like a place I'd go for fun. Yep. But eventually I realized they needed help, and I really had no good reason not to do it.
Right. And you get a free pass.
Yeah. And but no, don't regret it at all. So you make so many connections from working there. You get I mean whether it's just meeting all the local reps. I think that's actually how I met Sparky, who was my original arbor rep.
Yeah.
But yeah, you just meet so many people, and eventually that job kind of turned into getting me a job out at Wendell's digging.
That's
so
right.
like, I mean, it's just a great way to make connections, and
yeah,
it's a good. The other reason I did is it's the only way I could think of to give back to the community at this time.
Right.
You know, like if you build a park, you're gonna build a community, and I'm not doing that single-handedly, but I'm helping. So
right, and that's what it is. I really appreciate about you is like you work hard and you care about the people that you surround yourself with. You know, it's like I think that's like a really cool thing about Trollhagen in general too. Is like everyone has a very similar mindset, kind of to that same thing. I don't know if it's like this Midwest moral thing.
Yeah, I don't know, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
but
it's a unique feel. Like that's what's so cool about like the whole area too. Is like we've got Troll, we've got Afton, there's Wild, there's Buck, there's Elm, there's Highland, and each resort has such a different kind of vibe. And one of the most like I feel welcoming vibes is Trollhagen.
Well, that's good.
You know, what do you think that is?
I really couldn't tell you to be quite honest. Like I know what you mean.
Yeah.
It's like every resort has their own thing, and
yeah,
I think part of the Trollhagen's thing is that it's just that's how the people were that we grew up looking up to. You know, like Jeff and what Jeff is a perfect example. Like always welcoming, like always excited to see you.
Yeah.
And so I think like if you grow up with that, like you'll naturally, whether you try to or not, I think you'll naturally, hopefully, be that way to the people around you.
Yeah, that's well said. Like everyone who's kind of like in an older generation riders from Troll is like super inclusive. You know,
Ethan, for example. You know?
Yeah. They want to help. They want to like have other people be part of what they're doing. It's pretty tight.
Good place to ride.
Yeah, good place. It's a super good place to ride. Now, how did you start snowboarding? You said you did it in your backyard for a little bit. Like, what made you want to start riding?
My one similar age cousin, Charlie, grew up with him. He got into snowboarding.
Yeah.
About the same time as two of my other good friends, and so between the influence of my cousin and then my other two friends, which like lived right down the road, they were both like getting into at the same time, and I didn't have a snowboard, but I would like sometimes like hang out with them and then use theirs.
Yep.
Then eventually I got like a $5 Planet Earth snowboard.
Solid.
Can never find the brand. Like I've looked up to like try to figure out like whatever happened to him. Yeah. But yeah, $5 board from a garage sale or something. It was like had metal edges and it like had an actual base. So like it was a step above like, you know, the kick in binding straps or whatever. But that's how it all got started. Probably when I was 13 or 14.
Okay. Yeah.
And I broke my arm like first week of having a real board. Yeah. But
what were you doing?
I don't even remember. I think I just couldn't stop before like going into like going down like a roller into another roller.
Yeah.
And then there's this big flat, and then it dropped off into like a drainage ditch or something. And like I just couldn't quite stop in time and kind of just like slid right off and tumbled down the drainage ditch and broke my arm.
Oops. Have you had any other significant injuries like kind of growing up riding?
I messed up my shoulder 2 seasons ago. Was out for probably close to a month that year.
Yeah.
Almost tore my rotator cuff, but I was close. But barely didn't. So like I had to like be really careful with it and like rehab it back. But it was fine from that. And then that same season I hit my head pretty good, and that was pretty scary. So I had to take probably another month off from that.
No, that was shown in the 1870 park. What was it? It was a frontside 50-50. Then you're gonna go backside transfer to the other rail. What was?
No,
what were you
it was a cab 2, and
it was a cab 2.
It was a cab 2, and I don't know what I did because I don't remember it specific. Like I don't remember that exact go obviously. Yeah. But something just didn't go right, and I ended up way inside on the rail and pretty much went rail and right into the stairs, and from the stairs I just slid across the set and hooked my tail on the upright support, and it whipped me around, and I
Gosh.
slammed the back of my head into the other support.
Because so if you were on top of the stair set, like you're going cab 2 on the right side, and you kind of slipped off this way
and caught my tail. It was
Caught
a
your
crazy
tail.
crazy fall. I've
then
never seen something quite like it, and then it just swung me in, and I was out.
and you hit your head on a support.
Yeah, head and neck. Like if I would have been a little further down, I probably would have been all neck, which would have been way worse.
Right here.
Yeah, so
Jeez, were you wearing a helmet?
I was.
You were. Do you think that helped prevent a further injury, even though you were kind of out for a little bit?
I think so. I mean,
Yeah.
I can only imagine because
Yeah.
I definitely made contact with my helmet on the rails. So if
Yeah.
it would have just been my bare skull, it probably would have been worse.
That's crazy. But those are the only 2 big injuries besides your broken arm when you first started.
Yeah, I've been pretty fortunate, very fortunate actually.
Yeah.
That's a pretty
Yeah.
pretty small list.
Yeah, that's good. And you've been riding hard. You ride in the streets. You ride troll. Did Cascade. What do you have planned moving into this season?
Not a whole lot. Riley's doing another project.
Yep.
We don't know much about it yet.
Sure.
He's doing something.
Yep.
And I got the thumbs up, so I'm
Cool.
doing something
You're
with
in.
him. So I'm excited. I'm sure it'll go somewhere cool.
Awesome.
And then other than that, I'm hoping to ride powder. I've never ridden powder.
All right.
Ever-
Not
ever.
one time? What do you mean? Not ever once?
Nope.
What? Where do you want to go ride powell?
Oh, whitefish preferably.
Go to Whitefish,
I mean,
Montana.
honestly, I'd take any powder.
Yeah,
but
any powell.
but whitefish is top of my list.
Cool. Why Whitefish?
No lift lines. Well, I should say less lift lines.
Yeah.
Good terrain, good snow.
Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
only heard everyone tells me if you're going anywhere, go to Whitefish.
Go to
Especially
Whitefish.
if you're going anywhere in Montana. So
Sure. Okay.
see.
I suppose there's like Big Sky, Moonlight Basin, Whitefish. That's
Red
kind of all that.
Lodge, yeah.
Yeah, Red Lodge. Yeah, that's pretty close, isn't it? Like, yeah.
I think so.
Right.
Yep.
Cool, man.
So yeah, we'll see if it happens. I was really trying to make it happen last year, but the group I was going with ended up going when I was in Quebec.
Okay.
So
So you're filming and they're ripping power laps.
Yep.
Oops.
But it worked out.
Yeah. So who's your normal posse that you ride with or ride/film with?
Well, so it's a little different whether I'm at Troll or whether I'm filming.
Okay.
So when I'm at Troll, it's Troll, so you ride with everyone.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like
Yeah.
Skiba, Kyle, Logan. I
Yeah.
mean, Grady, Keegan, Kelvin. Like I could
It goes
go
on and
on for
on.
days.
Yeah.
But then those are all the people like that I grew up riding with.
Yep.
But then when I'm like last year filming, most of the time it was me, Dan Tyler, filmer,
Yep.
Derek Combs, filmer, and then Cody.
Cody B.
Yep, Cody B, Ethan, Benny,
Cool.
Drew,
The goofy
Joey,
The goofy-footed wonder child. Or
goofy-footed child prodigy
yeah.
or something.
That was a good intro.
But yeah, so there's a lot of people, but
Yeah. Awesome. No. So you've been in the game for a good minute. Who are some of the kids on the come up that you're like, oh man, this kid's gonna be somebody? You know, there's a lot of really good kids that come out of Troll.
yeah. So we're talking like specifically Troll Midwest area.
Yeah.
There's a lot.
There's a lot.
Keegan Tank.
Keegan.
He's definitely got catching up with his brother.
He's a good. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Let's see. Jake and Tisdale, Lil Money.
Yeah.
He did probably one of the coolest things I saw yesterday at Troll. Just the 1-footer just boosted off the jammy box.
Yep.
Adam K, very underrated kid. He's from Stillwater.
Okay.
Fun person to watch ride.
Right.
Let's see who else? There's so many.
Yeah.
There's seriously not a bad kid at Troll.
I know.
Briar Birds. He's
a ripper.
He's gonna definitely.
He's
be
the next
something.
kid.
Oh yeah.
That's
For
cool.
sure.
Well, it's nice that there's something in the water up at Troll because everyone's just so good. It's like not fair.
I don't know. Yeah, there's something.
Right.
I think it's more partially just the mindset. Like you watch people succeed and you realize that you can do it. Like I remember for me, like so when I was first started at Troll, Like Nova was like the most recent like big
Mike
thing.
Casanova?
Yep. Was the most like recent big thing to come out of Troll.
Yeah.
But even that was like a few years previous to like when I was there.
Uh-huh.
And then, so like at that time, like my plan was always to like go out west and, make it big.
Sure.
And then I realized you're never gonna make it big in snowboarding, but like, like to, but and then all of a sudden Ethan dropped his Think Positive part.
Right.
And all of a sudden Trollogan blew up, or like put Trollogan back on the map, because like people had started to forget after Nova had moved out west. And then all of a sudden, like, Ethan put it back on the map, and I feel like that was a legitimate changing point for a lot of people who, like, realized that you could actually do something from staying around here.
Like, being based here.
Yep, and riding Trollogan.
Yeah.
Because, like, the people in the cities had already, like, Joe and Jake, for example, like,
yep.
they'd made a name for themselves from, like, staying mostly based out of the cities.
Yep.
Jake spent some time out in Bear, I believe.
Yeah.
But still, like, they were mostly based out of there. But even that, like, that was the cities, and I think like a lot of the Troll kids like still had the whole mindset of needing to go out west.
Yeah.
Until like Ethan put Troll back on the map, and like I think a lot of people started or realized that you don't have to go out there to do something.
Right. And it's kind of cool because Trollhagen is like a very rural area. It's like an hour away from downtown Minneapolis, hour and 15 away from downtown Minneapolis. Like it's like farm country.
Yeah. Oh, it's very rural. There's a gas station, a bar, a restaurant in the town of Dresser, and
that's it.
A few trailer parks.
Yeah. It's such a great place though.
Yeah. So got some character.
Yeah, it's got a lot of character. So Tony Daniel Wagner. So I just found out literally before we started this that's not your real name.
No.
What the hell? So a lot of people call it Tony or TD Wags, Tony Daniel.
I hear a lot. Toby, Tony, Tobias, Daniel, Dan.
All of them.
Yeah.
How did Tony Daniel Wagner come about, and why are you known as that instead of your real name, and what's your real name? What's
great
the story?
Questions.
Yeah.
When I was 12 or so, I was at school orientation, homeschool orientation. So like I was homeschooled throughout high school so I could work and snowboard.
Awesome idea.
And it was sick.
Yeah.
Definitely down.
Yeah.
But so I would go to these co-ops where we'd meet like once a week. We'd meet with our tutors, teachers, whatever, and then we'd get like a week's worth of homework. We'd do it, turn it all in Monday or whatever, and then get the next week.
Yep.
So I was at orientation night for my first year at one of these places, and I was hanging out with the one kid that I did know. Okay. And I was still Daniel at this time. Okay. That's my real name.
Daniel Wagner.
And one of his friends came up and she was like, "Are you Tony? I met you at so and so?" Yeah. And I was like, "No, my name is Daniel." She was like, "Well, I'm gonna call you Tony." And so like thinking it would last like a week, 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Like, okay, call me Tony. And like within a month, everybody was calling me that. Calling me Tony. And with 90% of the people just thinking that was my real name.
Yeah.
And the other 10% doing it because it was funny. And so I was 12 or 13 at the time. That was like about the same time as I started snowboarding.
Yeah.
And so, 23 now.
No way. So when you introduce yourself to someone, what do you say? Like, "Hi, I am."
Oh, it really depends on the situation, I guess. Like if I'm around like if I'm at a snowboard event or anything, it's always gonna be Tony.
Yeah.
But if I'm like with family or something,
Daniel.
It's Daniel. Yeah.
What's your real middle name?
Joseph.
So your name is Daniel Joseph Wagner.
Yeah.
That sounds so odd. Not odd. It doesn't sound like a bad name. It's just like
it's not Tony.
I only know you as Tony Daniel Wagner.
Yeah, but a lot of people didn't even know last year, last season, like when we were out filming and they all figured out that my name was Daniel. They all lost it, and it was pretty funny.
How did it come out?
Al Binder.
Yeah.
Al Binder was. He was living with Ben Klosterman, who used to be my boss up at Troll.
Yep.
And it somehow came up in that conversation, and they made a bet about us. They made a 6-pack bet or something. One for my real name being Tony, and the other against it, saying that it was something else.
Yeah.
And so then Al had to bring it to me to set the record straight or whatever.
Yeah.
And so from there, it just, it just traveled.
That's good. And so your driver's license says Daniel Joseph?
Yep. Okay. But my troll pass says Tony Wagner, so for all I'm concerned, in the world of troll,
in the world of snowboarding,
yeah,
you're Tony Wagner.
Yep. That's
awesome. And that's what's kind of funny, like, everyone just calls me Guff, So when anyone within snowboarding calls me Matt, it's like just the weirdest thing ever.
That's like when we call Skiba Mike or Michael.
Yeah.
Same type of deal, or Snakes Jake. Like,
you
don't call you wouldn't really call him that.
Right. Awesome, dude. Well, I'm so glad that you came in here, and like I'm so proud of like everything that you've been doing. Like the part that came out was just like rock solid.
Thank you.
And I'm really looking forward to seeing like what happens like this next season and seasons after. So good job, dude.
Thanks for having me on.
Dude, you're welcome. Thank you. And of course, thank you guys for watching. This is Tony Daniel Wagner. Feel free to leave any comments or questions. And if you're ever at Trollhagen, give him a what's up. Say hi. He'll chat with you and rip some laps. And again, thanks for watching. Remember to subscribe to the channel. We got a lot of really cool interviews, kind of like dropping every once in a while. And then we actually shot another video with what board?
Arbor Relapse.
The Arbor Relapse. So make sure to check that out because that's the deck that you ride. Thanks. Peace.